to Casually Dressed and Deep in Conversation with me, Greg Chalmers. CDDC is sponsored by Pizza Daddy, Lanarkshire's #1 American-style pizza parlour. To stay up to date on new flavours and promotions, then get connected on the socials. The Instagram handle is @RealPizzaDaddy and the website is www.thepizzadaddy.co.uk. To see what we're getting up to here at Casually Dressed, then you can find us on Instagram with the handle @CDDC Podcast, and on Twitter it is @PodcastCDDC. Also, as you're watching this on YouTube, then please hit those like and subscribe buttons. And with me this evening is this beautiful moustached gentleman. As my co-host, it's Christopher Shields. How you doing, mate?
Not too bad. How are you, pal?
I am great, pal. I am great. Our guest this evening is actor and presenter Atta. Yaqub. How are you, my man?
Very good, mate. Thanks for having us. I can't help but notice Chrissy's moustache. Is it a dodgy bit you missed, or is it a wee bit you're keeping for Movember?
No, this is my... So, a little bit of podcast bingo. Get it out of the way early. I've recently left the army.
Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding. And I've decided basically to... This is my... I've left the army so I can now grow some facial hair, but I actually can't grow some facial hair. But luckily the moustache looks... is pretty strong, so I think I'm just going to roll with it and see where it takes me.
Brilliant. Good luck. I forgot that about the army, that you can't... you need shave, don't you? It's a clean shave.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can actually grow a moustache, but the weird thing, you have to ask permission to, and there's like certain rules, and like it can't be below the lip and like the crease. There's a lot that goes into it.
I'm fucked then, isn't I? I'm fucked.
Yeah, you're right. It just looks like a third eyebrow, mate.
Yeah. It does.
So Atta, how has your lockdown COVID scenario been, my friend?
No, outstanding. No, generally it's been outstanding. I had a little one right at the start of lockdown. That part of it's been brilliant. Not missing obviously family and friends. And now that reality is coming back in and I'm back at work, you're right, mate, it's tough. It's very tough, but everyone's in it. It's not like some things where, it's only happening in the UK, or it's not happening here, or it's not happening there. It's a world pandemic, unfortunately, and we just need to be careful and be safe.
Yeah, well, I think that's good advice, mate. That was very well said as well.
Yeah.
I'll stop just now, before I go all political.
Listen, mate, you want to get political, this is the place to do it. Nobody listens to it, so we're all good. So, Atta, obviously, I've known you for a long time, mate. We've been to a few parties, you and I.
Yep.
But for anyone listening who doesn't know your background or whatever, tell us, first of all, how did you get into acting?
The first thing I'm raging if people don't know about me. They should know about me. No, Greg, thank you, mate. I've had quite an interesting journey. Got lucky a good few years now back. Won't tell you my age. In fact, I will. I'm 41, but I got a big break at roughly 24. I know I don't look it, do I?
You do not look 41, bro.
Cannot. I got a big break at 24, 25 by the acclaimed director Ken Loach, who has done some brilliant social films around all aspects of life. Did obviously Looking for Eric, the Cantona film, Sweet 16, where Martin Compston was just smashing it and he's went on to high heights. I was in his film called A Fond Kiss, which looked at a love story between a Pakistani Muslim and a white Catholic girl. I played the lead role, Greg. I never acted before, and that was the one that just took me into the limelight, so to speak. And it's been outstanding. It's been a brilliant journey. Maybe I would never be on this show had I not been an actor from that. So it's just been incredible, Greg. That's been the start of the journey. And for Chris, you might not know some of this, but from then I signed up with a really good agent. The agent was based in London. Didn't work. Spent a wee bit of time in London and came back up to Scotland, and things have been going okay. I can't lie and say, do you know what, I'm one of these actors who are getting loads of work, because they're the lying actors. Don't believe them. And I know you had my pal Tom Urey on recently as well, which is awesome. I'll just pick that up because I've name dropped there. But it's been brilliant, being able to experience some of the things. I think you mentioned that you spoke about Trainspotting 2. one of the credits that thankfully we've both got. It's just been brilliant, Greg.
So tell me, so you've to actually be put up for a part in A Fond Kiss, how did that come about? If you hadn't acted before, were you modelling? Was that what it was?
Yeah, there was an element of that. I was at uni, and I think Ken Loach, the way he works is he casts non-actors sometimes as well, because of, I'm not trying to blow my own trumpet, but he wants that bit of raw appeal. He wants a bit of natural. Sometimes with actors who I know they're brilliant, they've been trained, but they come with a certain strategy, I suppose. You know what I mean? They come in and they can be a certain way. I just went in as mates. Do you know what I mean? I was like, he was like, oh, can you do this scene and just pretend you're in a cafe? And I was like, yeah. So I would sit with a few of the actresses, and we just pretend, and I wouldn't try to be all this. Would you like a coffee, darling? Or look at me. This is the cameras on. It was just very natural, and I guess that's been my style, where he used that. So it was a casting. I didn't just get thrown into it because, you know what, here's an Asian dude who can act. Have you got any cousins, Atta? It was just there was an addition element to it, and thankfully, I remember I was down to see Real Madrid v Man United, and we got tickets, and it was old Real Madrid, as in Zidane, old Ronaldo, and I'm a big football fan, as you know, and we went to see that, and I got a call going down. I'd been back and forth with a good few auditions with them, and I got a call going down saying, by the way, they want to see you tomorrow. I was like, I'm down to Manchester for the game. I remember telling the boys, like, shitting myself, saying, boys, this is a big deal. And they were like, you know what lads are like? Actor, fucking, how do you think you are?
You're better than us,
Basically, Chris, right? And I was like, no, I think this could be it. So watched the game, went back to the hotel. They went out. I was like, no, I need kind of be on it. They dropped me to the train station first thing in the morning, got back up the road, met Ken, met Rebecca, who was a producer, met Paul, who was a writer. So I was meeting the three bigwigs, right? And they just sussed me out. And that afternoon, I got a call from my agent saying, you've got the part. And I just started crying. I was like, what does this mean? He was like, they didn't actually know what it meant. And I think on reflection now, as you're older, you really think what difference that's made in your life, of not just what the film was about, but what impact you can have on people's lives. And I'm sure we'll allude to this later on, but it was just incredible, mate. Just incredible.
Aye. And it's Ken Loach's a big name as well, mate. Do you know what I mean? If you're like,
I know.
It's not like, I mean, actually, before I was say what I was about to say, did you not get nominated for an award for it?
Yeah. I was the British Film Awards, British Independent Film Awards. I was up for Most Promising Newcomer,
wow,
which was pretty awesome. And at that time, honestly, my life was incredible, because I had the BBC doing a documentary just on me. So they'd been following me around, like, honestly, literally, like, my pal had a chippy at the time, right? And we'd go in there for our dinners, because, like, that's what you do, do you know what I mean? You just go and hang out with your pal's chippy. And they would follow me in, and I was like, do you need to? And he was like, well, it just shows what you are and stuff. And then we went down to the awards, and they came down, and they were on the red carpet and stuff. And I was nothing at that point, but there was some big names there. And I had this camera following me, and folk were like, who's he? Big shot, do you know what I mean? And I was like, I'm just this wee guy who was just watching things going on. Didn't win, unfortunately, but, it was great for my learning and stuff, and it's put me where I am, I guess.
So what was Ken Loach like as a dude?
Oh, mate, just humbling, just very low key, caring, just very honest with it. I don't know if you guys know, but obviously you get a script for a film. Ken Loach doesn't give you a script, right? And I didn't know, because I was a non-actor. So how it works is actually suited to someone who just comes into it fresh. He revealed the script to me on a daily basis, right? So firstly, he shoots chronologically. He shoots in order of the film.
Does
right?
he?
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
which is amazing, right? So it's obviously a nightmare for production. Excuse me, sorry, I'm just going to have a drink of water. It's a nightmare for production, because you have to revisit sets and stuff. But for me, I was like I said, I was just on the buzz. I was like, look, we'll do it. Whatever needs to happen. So he reviews the script on a daily basis. I probably was a bit naive, guys, and I just got on with it, not thinking I'm playing a lead role. I didn't realise the implications, because obviously I then went to Berlin for the film festival. I went to America. I went to Germany a number of times. I went to Holland. I did film festivals. I wouldn't say worldwide, but I did a bit of travelling from it. He does that. He throws in things at the last minute. So when you don't expect something, he'll throw a spanner in. So firstly, you like this, Greg, right? Because I couldn't drive, right? But I had to drive for the film. So they put me through my test.
Fuck off, seriously?
Yes.
That's amazing. That is amazing.
So some of the perks that came with it were just unbelievable. I couldn't drive, so they got me again, if you're into cars, and I'm not, but I had a wee crack in a wee Golf GTI because I was a DJ in the film. So I had to have quite a cool car. And I remember my pals watching it, who were all drivers, saying, you fucking revved the engine up wrong there because you were trying to go to... And I was like, I know. So they clocked it. There's a few times in the film where I went, trying to increase speed, and I wasn't going anywhere. So that was funny. But I remember Ken saying to me one day, he used to speak very, very quietly and stuff. He goes, have you got your passport and stuff? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, oh, we might need it in a few days. I was like, what? So this is midway through filming. Have you got your passport? Is it up to date? I went, aye, it's up to date. I goes, how? He goes, remember, you're in a relationship in terms of the film. You should go on holiday with her. I went, sorry, what was that? He goes, oh, we're flying out to Spain. And I went, what? He goes, yeah, we're going out to Spain for a holiday. And it was brilliant. Flew over to Spain, scenes in Malaga, unbelievable, right? And then he just dropped it on me, right? I'll come back to one of the scenes in a wee bit, but he just dropped it on me and he goes, you're going to have to tell her. So my character in the film is due to get married to somebody else, right? The whole traditional Asian thing. I'm going out with a white girl who I'm totally in love with. I need to drop the bombshell that, by the way, there's someone else involved. But I didn't know, Chris, like this would happen in the script. But in reality, you need to tell them one day. You need to say how it is. So I read the script and I went, Ken, he goes, you had to tell her one day, So Eva, who was playing the lead actress, she never knew either. And she went, you fucking bastard, right? And I went, she goes, you know all this? I goes, yeah. She goes, oh my God. I goes, I know. So it was such an emotional scene because I had to tell her. She started crying. I cry at the best of times, right? So I started bubbling up. And Ken Loach, they don't always cut when you're meant to cut. So as it happened, she bolted from the room, the hotel room. She ran. And I was sitting there crying on the balcony. And I could see her running out the balcony. And I've just started running after her, right? And it doesn't say in the script, run after her, blah, 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 the way I would maybe do it now. I just started running. And the camera's just started following me, right? Now, I'm not saying it followed me all the way, but Ken, when we came back, Ken goes, are you okay? I goes, yeah, was it meant to be a cut? Sorry. He goes, no, we just followed you both because that's what felt natural. So he worked in such a unique way that he just let you do improvise where you had to, but at the same time, he had a structure in his head and what he wanted from it. And those were a couple of the kind of madness, with the driving and the holidays and stuff. And, we had a day of just last day of filming there. We had a really nice time at the end of it, and you just bond differently when you're away and stuff. Do you know what I mean? It was just epic, mate. Epic.
I can't believe we put you through your driving test. That's amazing.
I know.
That's so good.
My back, do you know, that's why my back's probably sore, because my back was killing me doing 9 hours a day just driving around the block, man.
So, Atta, I also, when I was doing my deep dive on you today, I found a documentary you did.
Yes, I've done a few, but which one did you find?
All right, I only found the one. Karachi Uncovered.
Yes, Karachi Uncovered. God, did you find that?
I did, mate. Do you know what dates? Do you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of see when Danny Dyer started doing like the Real Football Factory, and it's just like a guy going, I'm here doing this, and this is going to happen, and I just like looking off and then just start walking. It was a bit like that.
Do you know what? That was BBC. They came to me and said, listen, you've been back home for a while, and I went, no. They went, would you like to go back to Pakistan? I went, nice. Firstly, it's a free trip, but also
absolutely.
also it's a chance to explore my homeland and just seeing how far it's come. And we did a couple of brilliant little stories again, very, very different filming. I had to, I had to act the goat a wee bit in one of the things, and I was going to the superstar parties and going, "Are you famous?" And you know what? These folk were famous. We think we've got 1,000 followers on Instagram here, or 2,000, and you think you're big time. They've got Karachi in itself has got 5 million people. I mean, that's the whole of Scotland in one city. And I was like blown away by it. Do you know what I mean? Wow. So that was a brilliant experience. Quite challenging because obviously, filming in different conditions. We had to do a couple of stories on Truckheart, which was quite in the deep ruins of Pakistan's Karachi. We did a story on kind of fashion there as well. So it was some real big stories that was trending then in Pakistan, and they got me to front it, which was nice.
So how long were you away for? Do you know
that? 3 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. Yeah, because we had to get a working visa for 21 days. So
was that? So how long had it been, since you'd been in?
Oh no, over 20 years.
Wow, man.
Well, yeah, over 20. Because my dad passed away when we were young, and then my mum took us again when we were 8. So I would say, yeah, it was about over 20 years, Greg, since I've been back. Wow. It was incredible. And yeah, it's just the change of it, what I thought it was, what I got when I got there. It was so modern. It was parts of it was so modern, big gaps in class, which bugs me because I do a lot of charity work and a lot of community development work. So I was really upset by how the poorer side get treated by the richer side, which we all do. Do you know what I mean? Mm. But it was a big shock for me. And then subsequently, last maybe 5-6 years ago, I went back to do a film in Pakistan as well. I'm not saying that was as a result of that, but there was a few people who were involved with that then got me back as well, which is interesting.
So do you have family over there still?
Yeah. My mum's family, my dad's, as in their brothers and sisters. A lot of them are there. We don't have much family here.
So did you manage to catch up with any of them when you were over there?
You kidding? They would have taken my visa off me, my passport. Like, right, we're going back to the UK. No, I didn't, mate. I was in Karachi, there in Jhelum. There was a few phone calls and stuff, and it was difficult because of work and all that. So, and I said to my mum, I was like, "Mum, if you really want me to go, I'll do it, but filming won't allow it," type of thing. I won't be able to just sneak away for 2 days and get there. So, unfortunately, at that time I didn't. But yeah, it is what it is. You know what I mean?
When you came back, did you have a new appreciation for Pakistani culture?
Oh, big time. Honestly, Greg, I think it was so advanced. There was so much. Obviously, now with Imran Khan being in, the whole political agenda there is different and is quite dynamic. It's promising for the young and all that. Long may it continue. He's trying to put in things that are in place that are very, very, very. I wouldn't say Western, but just very fair. He's trying to put in systems from education to health, the things that we take for granted. Yeah. Things like that are starting to implement, and do you know what? Long may it continue. So I'm a big fan of what he's trying to do. But at that time, even going back then, Greg, there was some challenges with how local parties influenced the government. And that was quite scary at times. And when I went back to do a film in Pakistan called Good Morning Karachi, which looked at young females aspiring to be something else, and I played a kind of romantic lead type of guy, the political agenda was rife. And what I was seeing was, if you're elite, even the elite were getting targeted. And I remember one time being in my hotel and a bomb went off. Quite scary. A bomb went off not so far, and it could have been a restaurant and stuff that I could have dined at that evening. And it was at the Clifton. It was an area called Clifton, and a party had done it, and they'd done it to put fear in the government. So it was internal. We've had things like this happen in our country before, and these kind of situations are volatile, and you just don't know, and you don't know what to do or expect. Yeah. But when I came back, I did love the fact that it was forward thinking. Young people who had moved away were going back. The class thing did annoy me, and I wish I could do something about it. I'm a big a person around sports and community development, so I was hoping one day, I'll go back and make some influence somewhere. That may or may never happen, but it's definitely a place where you can invest. But at that time, it was probably still upcoming.
Yeah. Do you think that the way you look at things and the way you see Pakistan, you'll be passing on your knowledge about the place to your daughter?
Absolutely. I think you want to raise your kids firstly open-minded, but also very, very grateful of what we've got. We live in the UK. I was fortunate that my mum and dad came in the 60s. Sorry, when my dad was working on the QE2. He worked for Queen Elizabeth II. He was a electrician in the Navy. So it's my dad obviously passed away. I've mentioned that before, but people take things like that for granted. We are very fortunate. There was Remembrance Day coming up next week. There's a lot of things that we forget that Pakistanis, Indians, that whole Indian subcontinent, we contributed towards the British in building this. Massive. Some things, massive. Some things I don't agree with, but you have to raise your child, understanding and appreciating that. But then also telling them a bit about, I can't even say the motherland, it's about their grandparents, and saying, this is what happens there. Take the good things from it, but challenge the negatives, because you can have an influence in it. That's been my psyche over the years. And if I can pass that on to my wee one, great. And if she wants to learn in other ways, then we'll see, but otherwise she'll be leaving the house.
Do you know it's funny? We had Junaid Ashraf on the podcast a wee while ago, and see what you were saying there about the contribution that Pakistan and India has made to the UK. I think it's overlooked, because what he was what Junaid told Chris and I, the two of us were dumbstruck. I couldn't believe, because obviously we are taught, we are kind of given a certain narrative that throughout education that we kind of went over and sorted everything out and all that, which was just not the case. Absolutely not the case. And when he was talking about it, it really hit home. And not only that, he had all the facts and figures and statistics to go with it, so there was absolutely no disputing what he was saying.
No, Junaid, to be fair, knows his stuff. I'm just gutted he was the first agent on before me, so me and you are no pals anymore, Greg.
Well, actually, listen, we've got his brother Dinesh coming on with it, I think. So
goodbye, guys. Nice seeing you. All right. Coming up next week.
So, Atta, we couldn't have a conversation without talking about the time Robert Carlyle stuck his head in you. So, tell us. Obviously, we had Tom Uri on a couple of weeks ago, and he dazzled us with stories. The big man is, I tell you what a guy he is, by the way.
Tom's brilliant. Unfortunately, I didn't get to do a scene with him, and we've both been on the other city, but at the wrong times as well. But no, did he tell you? I think I told you about the premiere and stuff like that, and we went in and had to hand in our phones and all this kind of stuff. So we were all
he didn't tell us that. Didn't tell us.
No, so it was top end security. So there was 2 premieres going on. We got the cheap man's premiere,
told us
which was in the Cineworld in town, and the main fucking cast got Edinburgh with the glitterazzi and the paparazzi and the red carpet treatment. So me, him and Simon went to it all not knowing at all whether or not we were going to be in the film or not, because you just don't know. If something is that big, you just don't know if they'll cut it out, whether you fit in and stuff. But I remember going for the casting, and not Robert Carlyle, sorry, Danny Boyle, he physically and personally is there at every casting as well. And do you know what? See, for a director, that's a big ask. And I remember him coming and doing a role with me. And then, again, similar to Ken Loach, very thoughtful, very considered, saying, well, do you want to maybe read for this part? And I thought, Danny Boyle was asking me to read for more than one part. Yes. And then he asked me to read for another part. I thought, either I'm shite at all these parts, or he's keeping me in mind for one of them, right? And I went, Danny, I'll do it. I need the job, right? So
it's a glass half empty, sort of glass half full sort of way of looking at it. You're like, it's gone. Right, no, I'll try again. No, try again.
They're balancing the Asian numbers, right? So they should have had Junaid on it as well.
So Tom said to us that Danny Boyle's a really nice guy. Is that?
He's lying.
Is it?
Danny Boyle. So do you know? Honestly, see, when you reflect on it, right? These guys are not where they are and what they do for being not nice guys. They're just on it. They're on it with every single thing when it comes to filmmaking. They've got a bond with people. They see it. They oversee it. They see what's going on with everything. The connection they got with their actors. Tom is absolutely right. Danny was and is an absolute legend, right? I'm saying this also for him to cast me for the next film, so get it to his airwaves.
Of course.
Honestly, it was brilliant. And my day with Robert Carlyle, again, he's a very kind of quiet, focused individual in terms of actor. Really, he's doing multiple jobs. Do you know what I mean? So, do you know what I mean? He'll be doing. He's doing Begbie, and he's probably doing something in Canada the week after or whatever. So these guys, I'm going back to maybe do a bit of football coaching. Do you know what I mean? He's thinking I'm on Sky One next week. Who's this cunt that's coming in?
I'm going to wrap it up.
Exactly. I'm buzzing for it. Do you know what I mean? I'm just excited to be this close to his face. But the way they done it, they done it so cleverly. They can cheat it in such a way. It looked like he stuck a head in me. Obviously, I'd batter him if I had to, right? But
of course,
couldn't in this instance. But no, it was a brilliant day. Great rap party. Made sure I went show face there as well. And honestly, just a brilliant experience, because that is the biggest production to happen in Scotland aside from Trainspotting, which happened, when we were wee guys. To get a tiny bit in that, no matter what, people will say, do you know what, I was in Trainspotting too.
Well, actually, I said this to Tom. It's so culturally significant. And actually, do you know, I know I keep harping on about Tom, but he has been involved in so many things that are culturally significant. Chewing the Fat, Still Game, like River City, Trainspotting too. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's you're right. It's something that you'll be able to tell your daughter. We'll see that film, see that guy. That's me.
That's me. This is how you stick your head in somebody. And do you know what? I think I've been
take
typecast.
a headbutt like a champ.
Exactly. I think I've been typecast, Greg, because I was on this Bollywood film a few weeks ago, right? And I'm not going to say anything else, but the fact that I was on it, right? But I got battered in that as well.
You just get that face.
I know. Wait there. That one. The guy, literally, right, it's not, without giving too much away, it's a scene on a plane, right? And I'm trying to sneak away, and he grabs me, pulls me back with a neck, batters me, but obviously fake batters me, but the bam clocked me a couple of times, right? And I thought, I'm from Glasgow, yeah, man. And he's just clipped my lip, right? So it's fine now, but I had a wee bruise on it, and he's pretended to hit my head off the front of the seat and pulls a gun to my head. And I thought, I must have one of these faces that just people want to batter.
It's either that, mate, because I've seen you as a doctor in more than one thing. Mate, I think I have a look at your showreel and you're in Emmerdale as a very convincing doctor.
Well, is everything okay, Mr. Chalmers? Can we check on you? Yeah. No, listen, doctor's hard because all the technical terms.
Yeah.
I remember rehearsing that and I was like to my wife, I was like, I'm going to get a bit tongue twisted here because you're talking all these technical terms, you know what I mean? But, Emmerdale was very quick. Again, a great experience working with Anthony Quinn and the other actor, but it was just good fun, You're on telly, which is a byproduct, but you're another character for a while. You're doing something that you enjoy doing, and you're trying to bring it to life. So it was definitely good fun.
Do you prefer film or television?
Film. Love film.
Why is that?
Yeah, just the time. You get more time and it's more in depth. There's a bit more focus on things around how they want the outcome to come out. I don't know if you've seen on my show. I did a film called Isolani with Paul Wilson, Chris Commons and Lisa Commons. They produced it. Celtic footballer and his missus. So made good friends with them both, which was nice. But Paul Wilson used to be on The Hustle. Do you remember The Hustle?
Yes.
Where two guys and a girl used to con folk.
Yeah,
so Paul's a bigger guy, right? And he's a brilliant director. So he's done a few films here, independent films. I've had parts in both of them, and it's all very slick. It's a bit of violence involved. And Isolani was a lovely film. Just goes to it was about a young mother who's experiencing all the hardship, and she witnesses a murder. Again, honestly, I'm not trying to plug it here, but it's on Amazon Prime. It's worth watching.
I'm not trying to plug it, but here's a plug.
Yeah, basically, and your good self. I'm in it for a bit as well. So it's a really nice film. It's well shot. Honestly, great for an independent film.
So, have you ever done any stage stuff?
A little bit. I think Chris will like this one. I was in a play called A Game of Soldiers once.
All right,
yeah.
I think I've actually heard about that one.
You just saying that?
No, genuinely, because obviously it's the sort of you when you're in that sort of world, these sort of things kind of circle the way back round. Yeah, I never heard about it. It was in Edinburgh, wasn't it? It
was in the Fringe. You're right.
Yeah,
you're right. It was in the Fringe, and unfortunately, the writer Joe, he's passed away. But he wrote a brilliant script about the British Army, a bit about the invasion in Iraq and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was really clever how we did it. And I've not done too much stage, Greg, and I quite like a little bit of kind of comedy with some of the things. But this was quite dark. But it was in the round, so basically we sat. It was just a circle around us, and we had three brilliant actors who played in the army. Started off still singing Rangers songs and stuff, right? Honestly, and of course that's stereotyping what the army's actually like, but I suppose elements of it back then might have been like that. So he was trying to bring to life some of the things that actually might have happened. Mm-hmm. But the kind of gist of it is that I've been kind of hostage in Iraq type of thing, and this guy from the British Army comes in and he takes us hostage, but we find that we've got loads in common, and there's an element of real tenderness in it, but at the same time, a lot of the things between the other actors is what people went through in the army, and it just opened my eyes to things about what went on. It opened their eyes to maybe what happened on the other side, and I'm not saying this is bang on exactly true, because it wasn't a fictional one. It wasn't non-fiction. It was fiction. Mm-hmm. But it was just a brilliant story to do. And I remember we you'll like this, Greg, but we did the round, right? We did it in a round. So sometimes you had to sit next to people who have come from the crowd that maybe you've invited. So my pal Michael, who I used to work with at the SFA, he was sitting next to me, and I've just come out of a really bad scene, right? And I've been battered by them, and I was literally greeting and stuff, right? So I'm sitting there with Michael, and you don't know whether to look at the guy or not, because the play continues inside. And I remember like being my head down, and Michael, like I could feel his eyes on me, but he's trying not to look, so he's focusing on that. And I just remember doing this with my hand and just putting my hand on his knee. And he's like, "Fuck off, Atta."
You're not breaking character.
Stop that. Apart from that, and the police stopping us because we had fake guns in the back of my car for the play. That was interesting.
You had fake guns in the back of your car?
I know. As props.
It's so funny when you see people react to stuff like things like that. So
I know.
I had a similar story where I come back from Afghan. I was coming back on my R&R, and we get back into Bryce Norton at whatever time, and they basically took us on a bus to Heathrow. But by the time we got to Heathrow, there was no flights for that night. And the woman at British Airways was like, "Oh, we'll put you up in a hotel." And I've not slept in a real bed for like 36 hours. You put me in a bed, I'm not sleeping. Like, I'm not getting up for the flight the next morning. Yeah. I've got a sleeping bag in my back. I'll go and sleep on the floor over there. So done that's fine. Slept on the floor, got up, got in the first flight, and I still had like my body armor, I had a helmet, I was still in desert clothing, and the woman's like, security, just gonna check this for like munitions and stuff. I was like, well, of course it's gonna have stuff on it. Like 36 hours ago, I was out on a patrol. Like, of course it's going to be riddled in ammunitions. And they're like, oh, right, okay. And it was just this. What do you expect? Like, what do you expect is going to happen? Wow. I just checked my manager. Checked it. Sure enough, it all came up, and they were like, I was like, well, now what happens? Because I'm going to need that back. Because guess what? I'm going in 2 weeks' time. You just take it. Good idea. Thanks very much. the most pointless day. Most pointless half an hour of my life.
So, Atta, tell us a bit more about your experience working in foreign film, because correct me if I'm wrong, but you are multilingual. Is that right?
Yep. So I've been fortunate enough to do a few jobs. Bizarrely, always ending up in Germany. And it's not the kind of films that you're thinking. But ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch und du?
I speak a wee bit of German.
Yeah.
But
A wee bit.
embarrassingly enough, right? I actually lived in Germany for roughly 5 years, and I can speak the sum total of fuck all German. Like,
whereabouts did you live?
So we stayed in Elpt, which is right on the border of Holland in the Rhineland, right by just down from Mönchengladbach.
Nice.
Initially,
nice.
And then I stayed in a place called Fallenbostel, which is kind of situated in between Hanover, Bremen, and Hamburg, and that in between that kind of triangle. Yeah.
At least you know your geography. I didn't have a clue where I was. No, I've been fortunate, Greg, to work in Germany. I did a feature in Germany called Fairness Land, which means foreign land. Germany's got I wouldn't say an issue. There's a big kind of social debate around the influx of foreigners, and they're very open at times to accepting refugees and stuff, which is brilliant because everyone should. But at the same time, you need to be careful on the types of people we let in, etc., without going too much into that. But my role was around being an illegal immigrant who was wanting to live in Germany, and I absolutely loved it, Greg. I had to learn the language. Spent doing a good bit of tuition with the Goethe Institute in Glasgow. Spent some time in Germany doing a course, and then I was filming in 6 weeks in Leipzig, which is just outside Berlin, and it was unbelievable, mate. Just in many aspects, and much respect to obviously Yvonne Kiss, this was different because I was probably late 20s, early 30s, and just the experience of being alone, away from home, working in an environment we are not used to. We were shooting over during the night at all times, so my pickup time was at 3 in the afternoon. We'd finish at 2, 3 in the morning. It was dark. It was cold. It was really, it built a lot of character personally. Mm-hmm. It made me, attach myself with other individuals. And I remember the director's a friend actually. Now he actually emailed a while back because he was directing another film in London recently, and he asked me to play a part. It was a gay part, and I just don't feel comfortable doing that. He was trying to get me into the film in one role or another, but I was like, look, I'm not into playing those kind of parts. There's nothing wrong with it. Just a personal thing.
Yeah.
But the role that he got me playing, I didn't know, and my agent sent me to Germany, and I was shitting myself, man. I was like, I've never been to Germany, right? And I was meeting this guy Holm and also Kanval, and they were just driving me about, right? Potential locations, and it was late at night, and we were in a bus stop, and he was speaking to me in Punjabi as well, right? So it was, when you say multilingual, part of the film was in Punjabi, which is the mother tongue, and he goes, go into that bus shelter and just go mental. And I went, what? Like, what do you want to go mental? He goes, just start hitting it and shit, right? And you're really angry. And I went, okay, and give me some context about why. And again, I remember doing it, and there was no camera or anything, but trams are going by and that, and folk are like, what the fuck's going on there? And I'm like, because it's different as a camera on. You're kind of thinking, at least people get the idea that there's a two shot here, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But he was just watching me like, mess up your hair and go fucking mental. And I was like, this Barnett doesn't get messed up.
My man.
So it was just crazy. And I remember I came back and I thought, I'm going to get killed out there. This is going to be weird. And then I just thought, do you know what? Let's just go for it, man. And what an experience, honestly. And then did a film out in Pakistan, and I had to talk like I was from Pakistan. So when you say that, I had to have practice in this because we Glaswegians, we roll our R's.
Aye.
And in Pakistan, they were talking about the whole world, and I was going, my whole world. Right? They're like, no, you need to cut that as world here. You're talking like world, not world. And that took me a while. But again, just filming in a different setting, the heat, the pressure of, AC has to go on, but the sound of the AC is on, getting your accent right, driving on the wrong side and all, just crazy things, driving in Karachi with cars going in, you're like, whoa, man, like, it's just insane, do you know what I mean? But great character building.
So what was the film in Pakistan? What did you say it was?
It was called Good Morning Karachi.
Good Morning Karachi.
And it was based on a quite kind of female empowering film, which is good. It's about how females are making an impact in Pakistan, and they were using the fashion industry to do that. And I played the kind of the handsome lead man, obviously.
Of course, my friend. What else would it be? Do you know what I mean?
but also, Greg, you like this? I had to do a dance sequence in it.
Oh, so it was like a full Bollywood number, like that sort of thing.
Not full, but there was elements of it. And again, some of this was fake because you don't get this in Pakistan as well, right? You don't get somebody, oh, you know what? I'm just chatting to you, and then I start doing all this, right? But it was choreographed, right? So it was honestly, it was brilliant bands, man, right? And some of the folk working on it, it was just epic. The house that we were filming in for that scene, they built a catwalk on their swimming pool, right? So they built a catwalk on their swimming pool. I need to show you it's on my old show reel, Greg. I'll send you it. But I was like, what is going on here? Like, this is wealth, do you know what I mean? And obviously for that aspect of the film, it was a very kind of class film, and how someone from the lower class aspires to be in. It was brilliant. But I had a full dance sequence, and I've got 2 left feet, which didn't work well, and I was struggling in some bits, but do you know what? We did it, and it was just a brilliant buzz, man. I still know the moves, Greg. I am surprised I'm not showing you them.
I think I've seen them once or twice actually. I think there was a night in Josie Smith's cabin when you pulled them out for us all.
Basically, enough to put you off.
I'm never going to Pakistan because of it. So Atta, earlier on you alluded to the work you'd done in the community, and
yes.
I know you were involved with Show Racism, the Red Card, and all that sort of stuff as well. So talk us through what your motivation is for it and what things you've been involved in.
No, I think kind of growing up, Greg, without a dad and stuff, we didn't have much family, and we relied a lot on friends and kind of wider networks. And I don't think there was a motivation. I think it happened accidentally, but the way it happened, it's really shaped my life, bro, because when I say we, my best friend and I, we got approached when we were maybe kind of 17, 18, just finishing school, going into uni, and a guy he's a mentor to me and a brilliant guy. He asked us to be youth workers. So we started doing some youth work with a community project, YCSA, and really working with some hard to engage young people. And I didn't know those terms then, but we boys who now are probably doing some bad stuff or not maybe doing some bad stuff, but we just, we took them in as a youth work capacity. I finished uni and there was a job that came in within that institute, and it was around drugs and alcohol and how we can educate young people from black and minority ethnic communities around the effects of it, how it can affect you, blah, blah, blah. So it was really, really important to me, and it started laying a foundation into who I was and the difference I can make. Obviously using the film actor mantle and that adds to some of it. Mm-hmm. But this charity work, when I say charity work, it is paid, but it's project based. And now, after all those years, and I'll go back to some of the roles I've done, I'm now at the Prince's Trust. So we work with the most vulnerable young people who need our support when it comes to jobs, employment, training. And I was an ops manager there, and now I'm business development. So I'm still working in that field. It's my bread and butter. Of course, every actor would love to do acting full time, but it's difficult and it's challenging. And I've got a family now as well. So from the youth work, I became a detached drug and alcohol worker. I then went on to a faith charity who looked at bringing in faiths together. So whether you're Christian, you're Jewish, you're Hindu, you're Sikh, we, without sounding corny or cheesy, I remember Elaine C. Smith saying once, there's more that combines us that divides us. There's a lot more to it, and there was a real there's a real pleasure in me learning and working with other faith institutes as well. From that, I went on to education, working with the show Race on the Red Card, working with ex-footballers around bringing education in. What is racism? What is Islamophobia? What is gypsy and traveller communities? How can we educate young people in understanding what this is, so that our next generations don't grow up maybe not having the same education or understanding that we did. So you know what? Unfortunately, it still exists, but we try to make change in our own ways. And I'm still involved as an advisory member for the Red Card. And I run a sports charity called Glasgow Answer as well, along with a group of people. So I'm involved with a couple of things.
Have they got a football team called Young Answer?
Yes.
I've played against them at five-a-side once. You have as well, Chris. We used to, Goals and Clydebank used to. So it was the best five-a-side team from Goals and Clydebank played against the best five-a-side team from, it was like somewhere on the south side. And it was Young Answer, and we played them. This is what we played for a team called the Cardiff Flyers, five-a-side team. We were like the best five-a-side team in the west of Scotland.
What year was this?
It was pre-2005, 2006 anyway.
So it would have been like 2004, maybe 2005.
So that would have been my team, Greg.
Wow, man, that's mental.
How old are you? Sorry,
I'm 32.
Oh God. You'd have been running rings around me though.
No, we did pump them.
I don't think I was playing that year. So you're right. We set up a bit of a structure. We had two teams. We've only got one amateur team now, but I run a football academy on a Sunday for young people. We've got one of them into a league, but we're also a bit of a feeder when it comes to Rangers, Celtic, Hamilton's coming in and having a look at players. So that's something that I do, on a voluntary basis every week. But yeah, the community work and the education work continues one way or another. I recently got contact with the BBC again. Some of these debates we've had for years, why there's no Asians in football, blah, blah, blah. We could talk about it till the cows come home, but it's something that I have a real passion in discussing when it comes to equalities. I then went on to work for the SFA for 3.5 years around equity in football and bringing the grassroots game to all communities. So I've been involved in it for years, Greg.
So why is there not a sort of larger Asian population that are playing football?
I think it's a generational thing. Definitely, my parents would have wanted me to do something that would give more focus around career, academia, and employment. It's not seen as a career, unfortunately. Whereas now we know that it's not just a footballer. You can do coaching, you can do physiotherapy, you can do there's the boys' game, there's the adult game, yada yada. That mindset's changing.
Yeah.
I think people talk about opportunity. Unfortunately, I do believe there's a lack of it when it comes to big institutes like Rangers, Celtic, etc. And I'm not saying one's better than the other, but they can do more in order to get young people or people from communities involved with a club, because you've got supporters who are willing to do it. How do they do it? In my opinion, it's not the best just now, but they're trying. They're all trying. So there's a number of reasons, Greg. It's probably another show, if I'm honest.
We'll be here all night.
Aye, basically.
So, Atta, before we finish up for this evening, what's next? What's the goal?
Oh, so what's the goal?
World domination?
No. I think it's a good question. The hardest one so far, because everything else is just talking about, how I've got to where I am. If I go, I'd like to. If I go to my charity community stuff first, I'd like to be a director somewhere of something that I believe in. It might be young people, it might be equalities, it might be around health, but I want to be a head of an organisation where I can have my own team and developing, or putting together a project that people like you, me, Chris, there'll be things we can utilise our skills. It might be media, it might be photography, it might be arts, but heading something that's a real influence in changing people's lives, right? That's a big thing, right? And that might be whatever. It might be a mixture of things. but I'd love to front that or be kind of pinnacle of that. I think that would be an awesome thing for me, and changing young people's lives or giving opportunities. Could be asylum seeker. I don't know what that is yet, and I suppose what I do right now, there's a blend of all that. When it comes to acting, do you know what? I love it. I absolutely love it. You know, I'm doing a BBC radio drama tomorrow. I casted last week for 3 things, so the passion's still there.
Yep.
Unfortunately, as you get older and you have family and stuff, your commitment and time that you spend to it changes. Now, I know I've spoke to you recently about getting new pictures done. You know, like I've said, I'm in my 40s now, and I'm not getting the violins out to say it's all over. You know, Tom's still doing it. He'll be older than me. He's doing well with it. You can do it at all levels. You know what I mean? But you know, you have to be realistic and set yourself certain standards and stuff as well. Right now, it's very current what I've got in terms of my show reel, some pictures that will come. Notice I've said pictures a few times, Chris, hoping Greg doesn't charge me. Pictures that will
come. It's all right, don't worry, mate. I'm sorting you out. Don't you worry, son.
But I want to stay involved. I want to stay current. And you know what? I've got some nice bits of work. I'd love to get a series on BBC or Netflix, something that's really credible. If it's something to do with the things I have passion for, like, you know, we've talked about asylum seeker, refugees. We've talked about the impact. If it's a film or drama around that, boom. Do you know what I mean? I've done it all in a winner. There's a few chats happening with producers around something happening next year, which is a brilliant concept I would love to be involved in. And if not, just have input into these kind of, you know, the BBC, the TV and film industry. Use my profile in order to make it easier for our next generations.
Well, mate, that is admirable and very selfless. It's an unusual approach, I think, from an actor.
Honestly, I'm getting to that point in stage. People say, "Oh, you should be doing this, you should be doing that." You know what? It's hard, and you know, Greg, and Chris, you know as well. Excuse me, you know, you'll know that it's hard to do it, and there's a lot of people doing it. And I'm grateful for how much I've done, and you know, people like, "Oh, I'm trying to do this," and fair play to them. It's hard going, but thankfully I've done a lot that's credible, and people can look back and go, "God, you know what? He done that. This show reel shows this, and this. He's not just went out in the streets and made a film up. He's actually went and done it. You know."
Yep. Yeah. Right. Okay, gentlemen. Well, I'm going to sign off there. But Atta, thank you very, very, very much for coming on, mate. It's a pleasure to see that smiling face of yours.
No, it's been a pleasure, Greg. Honestly, it's for you. Honestly, we'd do it. Great meeting you, Chris, as well. Hopefully next time we can find out more about each other. Although you'll probably be bored of me, but I just think it's great. It's great you're doing it. I think it's great that you're showing that initiative and that creativity, and long may it continue. You know, and if you can get some decent content out of it, which I hope you get from me, then it's all good.
Yeah, well,
thank you very much.
I think getting decent content out of you, I think we've done well, mate. I think we've done well. So I'm going to sign off just now, gentlemen. Thanks for listening, folks. Please hit those like and subscribe buttons.